Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to start getting rid of some of the early spring slash summer plants that are not producing anymore. So we're going to start with this bed. So come along with me as we go throughout the garden and pull all our plants that are no longer producing. Here in this bed, we have a Brussels sprout. Now I really had a lot of faith in this Brussels sprout. It looked very promising, but lo and behold, it did not fulfill any of its promises. So we're going to go ahead and pull it out. It looks like it might have started bolting towards the bottom, and it looks like the bugs have just pretty much eaten it out. So this was planted in early spring and unfortunately has not produced any Brussels sprouts. I was trying to hold on to it until the fall, which is now, to see if it would amount to anything, but it doesn't look like it. So we're going to go ahead and pull this. Whoa. That is a huge worm, guys. Do you guys see that? Ah, it's running away. I'm gonna see if my chickens would want it. It is huge though. So let's go ahead and knock off the rest of this dirt. Very, very good root system there. Again, it looks like the Brussels sprout bulbs here were either bolting or gotten eaten. So we're gonna go ahead and toss this in the compost. Over just a bit more, we have one of our pepper plants that is done producing for the season. Very good root system on that pepper plant. That was a coral bell. I think I only got one pepper off of that. There are some mini ones here, but again, they definitely won't amount to anything before the frost. Gonna add this to the compost as well. All right, over here in this area, we have our squash or zucchini. No, zucchini that we did not get any zucchini from. I might have planted this a little bit too late in the season. It does have a little powdery mildew on it, so I will not be putting that in the compost. We pan around here. I have a tomato that can come out. Extremely good root system on that. I did plant all my tomatoes a little bit deeper. We do have one more cherry tomato plant here that is producing, so we'll leave that one in for now. Over here we have a nice sized tomato that it's just doing its thing right now, so I'm gonna leave it in. This one though is no longer producing. There's a few small tomatoes on it, but yeah, I think it's over with for this one. I will not be placing any tomato leaves at all in the compost. This bag was actually my test grow bag, and let me make sure you guys can fully see. I wanted to see if I could grow a tomato in a 2-gallon bag. You definitely can, but it takes a lot of water. Okay, so here in this garden bed we have just a few tomatoes. Sorry, peppers. This one is very small and it's starting to blush, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it off. Remove some of these. Very good root systems on everything. So everything did do pretty well in this bed. I just thought I would have gotten more bell peppers than I did get. Let's see. We are going to take all of the very small ones. And even these are very small and they're starting to blush. So we're going to go ahead and take these as well. I actually found an onion. And I'll go around on the other side to grab the last few. You get a nice size one there. All right, and I think as I stated before in the last video, I'm gonna leave this Marconi on here to fully ripen. This was the only one that I got this year, and I do want to save seeds from it, so I'm gonna let it fully ripen. So that is the only thing that is left in here. I do have a few brassicas on this side that I'm gonna leave in here because those are from my fall planting. So let's move to the next bed. Now this is one of my smaller beds. I do have some strawberries in here. I have this Jimmy Nardello in here that I'm just trying to leave maybe a little bit longer. Some very small bells in here. Oh, one more back there. And I'm going to be careful as I'm pulling these up because, again, I do have some strawberries planted in here as well. So here we have some of my grow bags, and these are some of my zinnias here. By the way, they grew wonderfully during the summer in this grow bag. They do have a little bit of powdery mildew on them, so they will not be going in the compost. This Swiss chard will get a little bit stronger towards the cooler season, so I am going to take off some of these bad leaves and let it regrow. These also will not be going in the compost. They have a little bit of rust or some type of fungus on them. All I did was lift this out, and it really came out quite easily. This is one of my squash plants, and looks like we have one squash on here that has been on there for quite a while, hasn't gotten any bigger, which is kind of abnormal for squash because usually they're one size one day and triple the size by the next day. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. I do have some sage here. I am not going to be harvesting any herbs today, so I'm going to leave the sage in there for now. There's also sage in this pot as well. Next year, I am only going to have one spot for my sage. Let's move on down. There is a very nice breeze going on right now. This is my blueberry plant, so this will be staying. Let's see what we have here. This Jimmy Nardello produced very well this year. My Jimmy Nardellos last year did horrible, but this year, excellent. Grow bags, that's my only tip. Use the grow bags. This one was my Keystone Giant. This one produced very well as well. I think I got maybe 3 or 4 large bell peppers off of this one. Ooh. And this one back here was my shishitos, and shishitos did well this year as well. All right, moving on down. These were my jalapenos. So here in this grow bag, I have all of my peppers that are overwintered from last year. So I think this year, I am only keeping, I don't think I'm keeping any of these. I don't think the sweet longs produce more than they did last year. Some plants do better overwinter and produce more. But for me, that sweet long did not. The Keystone Giant, or sorry, Big Jim, I am going to keep that one. But this jalapeno, I'm going to pull. So the only one that will be staying for now is this one. And then a little later this season, I am going to pull this Big Jim before a big frost. So hopefully without disturbing any of that plant's roots, I'm going to take the rest of these out. See that Big Jim still producing huge big peppers. So I am going to overwinter that one again. So here on this side, I am going to take out the shishitos and the Jimmy Nardello. Eggplant is going to come out. Look at that root system. I don't think I even got one poblano off of this plant this year, so it's a maybe for next year. I have another sweet long here that did good, so that's a banana pepper. And I'm going to leave this one in, so we're going to leave those for now. So over here I have another eggplant. Okay, it is really in there. Whew. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get this one out or if I'm going to have to tip this pot out. So we might have to come back to that one. Here in this one, we have our shishitos. They should come out pretty easily. So these Joe Parkers did okay this year. My habanero, which is still producing, I'll leave those on to ripen, just for the simple fact is I won't be planting any habaneros next year. Oh, huge piece of plastic in there. So I'm gonna leave those for now. This Market More cucumber is done producing for the season. There's powdery mildew on it as well, so I will not be putting this in the compost. I have my sage right here that's doing very well, so I'm going to leave that as well. I believe I had sunflowers in this pot, so I'm going to and these were my Kellogg's breakfast tomatoes. So I'm going to take those 2 green ones in, and I'll just let those ripen in the window. Tomato plants will not be going into the compost. I think I pulled up something, but it's really ate up, so I don't think it was going to survive anymore. I have a zucchini here. That will also not go into the compost because of all the powdery mildew. And I have a sweet potato plant here that I'm very curious as to what is going on underneath. I hope that I have some sweet potatoes down there. From the looks of it, I do not think that I do. Or if they are extremely small. So I'm gonna leave the cucumber vines in for now. But I think that's about it as far as pulling our plants. So we did get a little bit of harvest while we were pulling those. I don't have to bother with any of the green stalks just because those have strawberries in that one. And this one over here is pretty much cleaned out for the most part. So that's it, guys. That's all I got for you today. That's my garden cleanup for the fall, along with a small harvest. So I'll see you guys next time. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great night.